Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We've got a great show lined up, a special guest here, some good news, and share with different kind of things going on in the outdoors. But first, let's take a look at our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and the hard-working crew up there in Southport take care of our everyday comfort needs. Looking at a high today at 87, low is 68. Can you believe the lows? We're finally getting into the 60s. First time this year as far as this fall, and we're glad to see that. The water temperature at the end of the pier is at 85 degrees. So that little cool spot we talked about yesterday continues on into today. Take a look at our river readings brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. The Apalachicola Bluntstown this morning reading 5.2, and it's level. And how about the Choctaw at Caryville, which I thought was going to shoot up like this? It's not, folks. It's at a 3.9, and actually may be dropping the next couple of days. So that's interesting. Just that heavy rain we had the last couple of days was just centralized in some local locations that didn't go upstream and flow on down to Choctaw like we thought it would. Let's take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn right here on 23rd Street. We're looking at a high tide this morning at 12, well, right, we already had it at 12:05 this morning, and the low tide is this morning at 9:45. So we're going to have a decent tide today. The tide's getting better and better as the week goes by. This weekend will be some good tides. Wind will be coming out of northeast at about 9. All right, we're going to take a break and we'll come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, folks. I want to welcome our guest this morning, Mercedes Franklin.
Nice to be here.
Welcome to the show. And she's here. We're going to talk about some interesting things. And first of all, I asked her a couple of questions. She's my neighbor up there in Southport, not next door neighbor, but not too far from me. We're here to talk about the Southport silos, and we'll get into that, but I always like to get a background. And the first question I want to ask you, how did you get the name Mercedes?
From my mother, a Spanish Basque.
Okay, that's awesome. And then I asked her, I said, where do you grow up? Most people, I always just interested in where people are from. I'm just always interested in people. And where are you from originally?
Hollywood, California.
Here we are, folks. Hollywood is coming to Panhandle Outdoors. Here we are. We finally made it. And you told me you ended up down here in this area, but interesting story how you're down here. But we're glad you're part of us, and you live up there in Southport.
Yes, it's been beautiful. I moved here in 1981 and enjoyed every bit of it. We opened up a jewelry manufacturing company out there and did that until about 3 years ago. And so I've been on that nice, beautiful bay there of Phantom Bayou and enjoying every bit of it. And that's led us to here.
And she lives on Phantom Bayou, and tell folks who your neighbor is.
Mandy Warren.
Mandy Miller Warren, who's been on the show so many times, and we'll go back to when Mandy we've known her since she was a little girl, so I've been over there at Mandy's house several times talking about different things and all, and that's where I met you originally.
Right, exactly.
And beautiful area. In fact, that little area where the Anderson family actually settled Southport, but way back in the 1800s in that area right there, and off that point.
Well, there's some interesting, the land there has not changed hands very much.
Right.
Where I am living now, it is, there were the Indians and then there were the Andersons, and so we're the fourth owners of that property.
Is that amazing or what? That really is amazing. You don't see that much in America anymore.
And Southport is that's what's is so great about Southport. Mandy is the fifth owner where she lives.
Yep.
And she actually has some Indian mountains.
Yeah, she told me about that. In fact, I'll go and show you where we're talking about. Phantom Bayou. Here's Phantom Bayou right here.
And estuary.
Okay. So here's this point right in here. These are your houses right in here, right? Right off that point, I believe, in that area there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the bad news, that's the beauty of all of it. Phantom Bayou is a special place. And it got Southport because of the railroad track ended up right there at the Southport Elementary School area. And that was where the port was. But across the road from you of course, the boat ramp's been there a long time.
Yes.
Okay, on McKenzie Road, which is named for McKenzie Tank Lines, they've always been able to load fuel there and all, unload it, and but it's always been a good boat ramp. Well,
It has.
and always been a good boat ramp.
Boat and fishing.
Great fishing in that area, and we have some situation now. I was going to let you talk about what's going on now. I call it, for lack of a better term, the Southport Silos.
Yes,
So,
well, we have a Facebook page, and it's Southport Opposes Silos, and we're keeping everything up to date on that. So we found out about it the end of last year. It came to light, and it's a company called Hollingshead out of Memphis, Tennessee, and I believe it's SRM is the company, and Hollingshead is a subsidiary.
Okay.
And so they bought this land. It was just under 7 acres, but only 3 of it is not wetlands. So that's all they have to build on.
Okay, I'm going to show you right here. Here's McKenzie, Highway 77 on the right-hand side. Okay, going up north. So this is middle right here. This is McKenzie Road, and this is the boat ramp. I've talked about it often and been there. That's a boat ramp. We all can go there. So you're talking about right in the center of the screen, these 7 acres, what they were bought, and then they're going to develop this area right here, the solid area right there, okay? And they're going to put up silos.
3 silos, 167 feet each,
Okay.
which is twice as tall as Marina Bay, which is at the other side of Bailey Bridge, those condos right there. So it'll be twice as tall. Now, from Lynn Haven on the, when you're driving over the bridge on the right-hand side, is that east or?
Well, you're going north on 77, so you're going to be on the west side.
So
yeah.
on the west side, they will see the silos above the condos.
Okay.
If you go on the, let's see, that was the west side.
Yeah.
So if you go on the east side, you'll see everything.
Yeah.
And from Lynn Haven, we'll see it, and then all around this area in Southport, we'll see it. But the air will, at the top of the silos, since it's above the tree line, it's going to go much farther over to Panama City, according to the DEP, and that is, it's 2.5 miles to 2 3/4 miles as the crow flies to Deer Point Lake, which is our county water supply.
And that's one of the concerns is what's coming out, what's going to be the dust and all, what's going to be in the air, that's what's going to settle down in different areas. That's one of the concerns. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Today we're Mercedes, not Cadillac now, but Mercedes, Franklin from Southport. And we're talking about, on the show all the time, all these years I've talked about being active and trying to take care of our environment and things around us because they're not making any more land. We got to take care of what we have, the land and water. Mercedes is one of these, in the community of Southport, she's become active and organized folks. Tell us what you've done.
Well, we got together, actually it started with condominiums. The Marina Bay.
Right.
And so we got together and started talking amongst each other and trying to find out what's going on. And we did that and realized the silos. So then we found out when the meetings were happening, what they were planning to do, what it was all about. So we started going to the meetings. And then we put out a Facebook page, Southport Opposes Silos, which we're keeping up to date so people can be a part of it. But everybody that we've talked to, we handed out probably 1,000 flyers. They have emailed in. It's hard because the meetings start at 9 in the morning. You don't know when you're going to be called. So people that work, it's very difficult. But they can call the commissioners and they can visit the planning board and find out what's going on around them because this was on 3 acres. We never thought in a million years. It had been a small industrial area that people had dropped things off on for like after a hurricane or something like that. But it was never anything consistent and it didn't bother anybody. But now to have 3 silos at that 167 feet, it's We just can't believe it.
Well, I know, and as I looked at this before, I thought to myself, not this county commission, but previous county commissioners, how they missed it. But I'm going to zoom in right here, folks. Would that have been right here on this regular, right about, would that have not been a great county recreation park, just a park for the people? And that would have been so good if the county commissioners would have bought this years ago and just made it a park right next to the boat ramp. But now, and then that way, we never would have got to this point in time where we are now, where we're really going to do some damage to the environment.
We are. That is Fannin Bayou and Estuary, and it's a Class 2 rated shellfish harvesting area. It's the last one left in Bay County, and the actual estuary is the only true estuary left in Bay County.
Yeah.
And now we have this, what they call is a dry cement materials offloading terminal with 3 silos of 167 feet each.
Yeah.
And although they are still getting their permits, they've applied for the air quality, and we're waiting to see how that comes out. But as they say, the pipe always leaks.
Yeah.
The pipe always leaks. So with the county water, Deer Point Lake close by, the estuary, the shellfish harvesting area, and we have manatees up there.
Yeah.
So the Fish and Wildlife, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife can guide the company in how they can navigate that area. We have the eagles, but what we need to ask the people to do is that you need to find out from the planning board down off 11th Street, they're on the 2nd floor, and find out what's around your area, because this is only 3 acres, and look at what they're building. So if you want, you have to be proactive and not have surprises like this.
This is a great example right here, where we talk about it all the time, about knowing what's going on, and really those planning boards, and I see it all the time, it's not in the government, all the government entities, they're planning way ahead, and they're looking at growth and all that, and we as citizens aren't aware of all that, what they're doing.
Right.
Okay? And it's not, and we just need to know what's going on, and that's a great example right there. Us not knowing ahead of time this could happen.
And I found out also there's 2 issues. There's the planning part, and they have great plans, for outdoor recreation, but that is different than the zoning. So you can have an area that is planned for recreation, but that doesn't mean it's not going to have an industrial 2 area in it. So
Well, and that leads us to what we talked about at the close of the last segment, the air quality. So all that dust, you got 3 huge silos, and all that dust is going to get up in the air.
yes.
And to me, when I first read about it, I thought about 3 things. I thought about, first of all, Deer Point Lake.
Right.
If we got that south wind blowing, all that's going to settle in Deer Point Lake. Now, I'm not a scientist and all, but I know dust is not good. Dust from industry is not good for you. I do know that. So it's going to land in Deer Point Lake, in our county water supply.
Yes.
And then I thought about being school oriented. I thought about Southport Elementary School. When you got that south wind, which is a predominant wind coming out of the southeast, it's going to blow right over Southport Elementary. You got that north wind like we're having now. That north wind is going to blow over Lynn Haven Elementary, and all that dust. And I know it may sound crazy to you, but who would have thought we'd have lawsuits now at Camp Lejeune that started in the 1950s because of the water? We've seen all kinds of things that go way back. But so we're always going to try to prevent this stuff before it happens.
Exactly. And that's why everybody that's interested needs to drive on down to the planning board and find out exactly what is around you.
Yeah.
Because none of us received any notices in the mail that this is happening. So are they putting the responsibility on us to call every month to see what's happening?
Yeah. Well, I have nothing against the industry. We all, you look down at Port Panama City, what a great complex that is, but that's an industrial area right there. So why don't you put everything they're going to do, let's put it in the industrial area and not in communities and houses and condominium there and neighbors and and then all of a sudden this blows up in the community.
Yeah, and like you said, the way the winds blow, so the immediate area will also have the dust, the main amount of dust, and it also flows right up into the estuary, which is what we're trying to protect.
Yeah.
And it's the last true estuary in Bay County.
Wow. That's great.
So
Let's take our final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with Mercedes Franklin here from Southport. I was asked her off air, so why didn't your mom name you Volkswagen? But Mercedes sounds good. You told me you had a friend in elementary school.
Porsche.
So, Mercedes and Porsche in class. Let's move along. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at 2:46 to 4:46 this morning. This afternoon, 3:10 to 5:10. We're going to start wrapping things up. I have this picture here. This is a little flyer y'all put together for the county commissioners. So basically, I just want to zoom it in. This is sort of what it's going to look like. It's going to be a monstrosity there, and you know, you can't help the looks of it, but we're concerned about the pollution and all in our area. Now, I want to. Okay, so what can you do now? I know y'all been to the meeting. So Mercedes, what can we do now?
What you can do is call the county commissioner's office and state that you do not want the industrial in your area. And you need to also email your county commissioners or all of the commissioners.
Okay, I'm going to go over this right now. The county commissioners. And now, folks, I know each one of these guys. I know them personally. They're good men. I've known them, most of them since they were growing up. Doug Moore, I know him well. Tommy Ham played ball at Mosley. I knew him growing up. Robert Carroll played ball at Mosley. Bill Dozier has been on the show a lot of times. Outdoors people, good, solid people. Philip won't be anymore, so we talked about who will take his place maybe and talk to them. But I know these guys.
Right.
And I feel like personally they got caught in a situation where something happened in previous commission meetings and all, where they were set up, and now here they are. They call it between a rock and a hard spot. But I know they're good people, and what we got to do now is let's all get our heads together, work together, and see what can be done.
Exactly. And if they know that you're behind them wanting to be a little bit more guarded towards the environment and your neighborhoods, call them and tell them, because they can have meetings. They were not happy.
Yeah.
They were not happy. So find out what's going on in your area, call them, call the county commissioner's office, email them, and ask them what they can do. And what they'll tell you is you have to participate. We need to get the county behind us so that we can move as far as we can move, because there's going to be, to do what really needs to be done has to include some changes, and we can't do that without the support of the residents of Bay County.
Okay, and this is where we talk about it all the time about being a voice for the outdoors. How does this pertain to the outdoors? You're looking at those estuaries, those marshes. It's just like a domino effect. When that closes up, then I guarantee you it's going to affect the fishing and the quality of water in St. Andrew Bay. I'm 100% convinced of that it's going to affect it. And then it's also going to affect the air quality. And when all that stuff settles, when the dust settles, it could be very unhealthy. That's why I felt so strong about having Mercedes come on. And I know our county commissioners, they'll do what they can to help the environment if they can.
Exactly.
So we all have to work together on it. And as a warning to all the other areas, even though this may not be your area, you need to support it, because the same thing can happen over there in St. Joe Bay, over there in Choctawhatchee Bay. We're not making these bays anymore.
No, and you know, Panama City is a place that people are wanting to come and visit, but there are some people out there that want to create a business that maybe is not so conducive. And you know, that's when we have the industrial parks, and we have to help the commissioners be able to deal with all this. And that's what we need to do. We need to step up to the situation.
Yeah.
And there were only, did you know what the scallop count was this year?
I did not. What was it?
6.
Get out of here.
It's 6.
6.
Patrice, 6.
Well, we're talking about water quality, and we talked about recent about all the scallops in St. Andrew Bay, but something like this is going to maybe go from 6 to almost nothing. It was 6.
It was 6, according to,
Holy cow. And St. Andrew Bay Management Resource, they're all behind you. They're 100% behind you.
Right.
We'll get them to come on too and talk about the finer points of the.
And they're having a membership drive.
Okay.
So for testers, water testers, and things like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I had forgotten are horseshoe crabs. We used to have horseshoe crabs, and they're not there anymore.
We were scalloping last week in St. Joe Bay, and that's the group of us talked about how few horseshoe crabs we saw in St. Joe Bay, which doesn't have any kind of industry around it, but the water quality is being affected.
Exactly.
Well, Mercedes, we got to wrap things up. Thank you first of all for being active in this and being an active citizen for our outdoors.
Well, I appreciate it and your time and helping us spread the word. And it's nice to be active outdoors.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And you tell Mandy hello too.
I will. We'll get her next time.
We'll get her on next time. Thank you all for watching our show. We appreciate the viewership. We appreciate your support and taking care of our beautiful outdoors. Do something good for someone today, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.